Even though it may be tough, asking for help can really be a game changer for your spiritual and mental health. Two insiders offer their advice. Take a listen.
Oftentimes when we're assessing for mental health issues, we're looking at physical symptoms because some of us are really good at identifying our emotions and how we're feeling, and others of us aren't so good. And sometimes it manifests as aches, unexplained aches and pains, trouble with sleeping, trouble with concentrating or focusing. So it can absolutely go from mental to physical and vice versa. We are very much connected, and sometimes we don't realize how much so.
There are a number of ways to prevent and relieve caregiver stress. We have a few tips that I'd like to share with our viewers, starting with ask for help. We talked about it at the beginning of the show, Nicole, but just ask when you need it.
Right. Yes.
But it's so simple to say, hard for people to do.
It is very hard for people to do. But I think that they're afraid of hearing the no and then feeling that disappointment. But, sometimes I tell my patients, until you don't ask, you don't know what they're going to say. So yes, ask for help. You don't have to do it all.
Or even, the expectation that I should be able to do it all. Right. Some of us think that, no, I should be able to handle this and I should be able to do it on my own. Like you said earlier, superwoman with all the bags, I've got it, I don't need help. But asking for help doesn't mean anything about you. It's just, I know my limits. So it's another aspect of it. It isn't part of my identity of who I am.
There's this cute little cartoon that somebody once sent me, and I wish I had it with me now, but it's the kids going through the mommy's closet and they find the cape and they say, oh, that's where she leaves it. So I think it's really poignant because it really is what we all try to do, put on the cape. The second one there, I believe, said spend time with friends. That, a cup of coffee, a glass of wine.
Right.
Anything.
Right. Yeah. Going out for a picnic, just going for a walk with, inviting someone over and going out for a walk with them. But, sometimes spending time with someone else and, giving yourself that break, can be very helpful.
And when you go, what are things that you suggest you talk about? Because lots of people feel like, oh, I don't want to share this with others. Why not?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I tell my patients. Like, why not? And they always tell me, well, I don't want to burden my friend. I don't want to burden my loved one.
Go ahead, burden them.
It's not, but it's not always a burden. Even
if it is, bring it on.
Okay, yeah. But, so sometimes I tell them, sometimes you need that break and you don't want to talk about what's going on. And if that's what you need, then don't bring it up. But if you need someone to vent with, then bring it up and talk about it, and that's okay.
And if they don't listen, they're not your friend.
Exactly.
Right?
There you go.
And you don't need them.
Now you learned.
There you go. Right. Delete. Boom. All right. Another one that's important, and I think this one's really, all of these are important, but join a support group. It's always great to be able to, feedback from someone who's been there, done that.
Absolutely. I in-person support groups, online support groups. There are services out there. Baptist has a support group. If you look online, there are plenty of support groups with some of the other websites that I had mentioned earlier as well. But really hearing that I'm not alone, because again, oftentimes what happens is we get overwhelmed, we get busy with managing our lives, the person's lives we're taking care of, and we feel really lonely because we have a lot on our plate. We don't have time to vent, and we don't realize that there are other people who are dealing with the exact same thing that we're dealing with. And not feeling alone in this is so
That's
important.
Huge.
Because then if I don't feel alone, it gives me more power to actually ask for help when I need it.
Yeah, I worked with this patient, two different patients, and one of them had a child with autism, and they joined a support group because they didn't really have a lot of family and friends around them that were willing to help. And she shared this story with me about how each of the mothers, they came up with a plan to support each other, where they would take care of each other's kids to give the other person that break. And then another patient that had a mother with Alzheimer's, and she also joined a support group, and then they would each cook for each other.
That I've seen.
And cook for their loved ones.
They make a calendar and they say Monday I'll make the casserole.
Right.
That's fantastic.
And it really, so support groups really helps connect you to other resources. Talk to people who have gone through something similar, going through something similar, but then can help be a support as well.
I know. I'm always surprised at how much people will help. You just need to ask. And then you see how wonderful humanity can be. The last one there was probably the biggest one for me, which is hobbies. If you run, keep running. If you sew, keep sewing. If you, whatever you do, walk, keep doing it, because that's your time.
Right.
To just decompress.
Yeah, and get creative. Find different hobbies. Because a lot of times my patients will be like, I don't know what I like to do. I'm like, well, then let's start going through a list of different things. You know, test out different things that you haven't done before, or things that you did a long time ago that you haven't done in a while. Test those out, keep those up, because they're very important.
And I think if you don't do a lot of these things, it's like, you know, when they say the water is boiling and it just blows up, that's what happens. It has to.
Yeah.
You just can't take it
gotta
anymore.
go somewhere.
Right. The energy is going to go somewhere, and it's just going to implode and explode. And you don't want that to happen.
No, because then we end up not feeling good because we may explode on somebody else, or, you know, we may just hurt ourselves because we're exploding and we don't have anyone to vent to. So absolutely, you know, taking breaks, you know, finding joy and laughter. I mean, I will tell you.
I do that a lot.
Every night before I go to bed, I make a point to watch something funny. You know, I just find.
I do Friends every night.
Something
I love Friends.
funny, you know?
We're on a break. I thought we were on a break. Right? Or when Ross goes, dim it down. Dim it down. There's lots of cute stuff. And laugh at yourself as well. I think that's really important. You got to.
Yeah, you do. Laughter is definitely the best medicine. You know, you feel good when you laugh. You feel good when you smile. You know, I usually tell my patients sometimes they're like, but what if I don't have a reason to smile? And I'm like, you know what? Just smile. The next person that you walk by, just smile at them. And a lot of times that person will smile back, and it could be a total stranger. But then how do you feel when they smile back at you?
Yeah.
And then they usually come back and they're like, that gave me a reason to smile. And there you go. Now you're starting to give yourself reasons to smile.
Great stuff. And don't forget, there is always a reason to smile. To watch more from this interview, download our Health Channel app and smile. Remember, if you have a question, please reach out. You can send us an email by visiting our website, allhealthtv.com, or give us a call, 855-796-4475.